Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Certainly glad you've tuned in. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. We're on to take two with Missouri State University head football coach Ryan Beard. And Coach Beard, I appreciate you being diligent and getting this worked out after the technical issues from last time, but I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate watching everything you do on social media. It's good stuff.
And coach, you're 100 days, almost literally, exactly 100 days into this, and you're also 365 days into twins, which has been harder.
It depends on the day. It depends on the day is the best way to put that. No, it's they both have joys in their own right. We'll start with the football aspect. It's been a whirlwind. I still don't think I've actually come up and taken a deep breath yet. Just because so when the transition happened, we went right into recruiting, and literally the day we got the job, we were in houses pushing to get kids recommitted, still understanding the value of this university and that the vision is just adapting. It's not changing. Again, it's just going to take on a new life of its own. And our recruits were unbelievable. I think that really helped because I was fortunate enough to be one of the recruiters, the lead recruiter on multiple of the student athletes, and the staff has stayed intact, which has been perfect. And they again believe in the vision that we've had since we got here 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago now, and we're hoping to build on that. And then obviously we went into our 6 week building phase in the weight room. Coach Consiglio does a great job with our young men. And they came out to spring ball with the chip on their shoulder. Look, their bodies looked good. Some guys had to lose weight, some had to gain, others just maintained. And now we're into spring ball. It's been super competitive. Obviously, everybody. I mean, the first question I got from Wyatt Wheeler on the first interview ever, probably 10 seconds into it, was who's our starting quarterback. Uh, still, still don't know the answer, but I appreciate him for asking. Everybody wants to get the juicy stuff out early, but both guys have been competitive. The offense and defense have traded blows throughout each practice, and the scrimmages have been fast, physical, aggressive, just like we like it, and all is well there. So the football aspect is great, and obviously being a father of four, a father, a teacher, that's what I feel like God's really called me to do, and I'm just an extension of that to our football team.
Coach, you've got the Fan Fest coming up on April 15th. You've had the multiple signings. You talked about being in people's homes, student athletes' homes, meeting with their parents. There's so much social media out there. You guys have been at churches have taken care of feeding the team several times. What's maybe been the most challenging, or maybe something you didn't realize? I mean, you mean I got to do that too? I mean, what's been the challenges there of moving up to now? You're the one calling the timeouts.
Yeah, I mean, a simple, funny one was yesterday. I was the team meteorologist, trying to figure out the storm path, and me and my DFO were sitting in there just racking our brains about, hey, do we move practice up? Do we cancel it? Do we, what do we do? And luckily, knock on wood, we made the right decision and got the work in. We moved practice up, but it's more just little minute things like that in regards to, making sure the guys have the meal at the proper time after practice, or and the interesting thing as a head coach is your phone rings for literally everything. I mean, in regards to if it's academics, if it's equipment, if it's all that, needs to go through you, which again, I feel like I'm a life learner. I enjoy learning and growing and getting into new things, and this has certainly been a role that's allowed me to do that.
Coach, you know, talk about some of the people you've leaned on during this first 100 days where you've maybe reached out and asked a question. I'm sure I know where part of that's going to go, but who have you leaned on and just asked for advice, or what do I do in this situation?
Yeah, no, it's really been good, and I joke with my players sometimes, but it's not really a joke. So when I was a player in college, I had a great college career. I had two head coaches, three defensive coordinators, and four position coaches. during my time at Western Kentucky. And at the time, obviously, as a guy that, you have a new coach every year, you have to come and improve yourself. But I've got so many good mentors in the profession. And just to name a few, me and Jeff Brom talk a lot. He's a new head coach at the University of Louisville. Clayton White, who's the defensive coordinator at South Carolina. Jim McElwain, who's the head coach at Central Michigan. Obviously, me and Bobby are still close. We still talk all the time. And I always like new, fresh ideas of how guys are doing things. And interestingly enough, as much as we our goal is to help these young men get to their dream job, which is the NFL. I have some guys in the NFL that I lean on as well. Grady Brown, who's the defensive backs coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. John Gannon, who's the head coach now of the Arizona Cardinals. I like to get a little bit of influence of that too in regards to just thinking outside the box and how we can best get these guys prepared to get to where they want to go.
Coach, as you look at what you got going on right now with spring practice, and then that Fan Fest, which is set for April the 15th. What are some goals that you have during the spring practice and then all the way through that April 15th day?
Yeah, we need to figure out the mentality of this new football team. The first day of spring practice, some of the young guys were kind of looking around for some of the staples of this program that have been here for all the success. The Kevin Ellis's, um, you know, Ty Scott, Montre Braswell, Kyrie McDonald, all those guys that have been here, Jason Shelley, through all the success we've had, they weren't there. So from the start, we had to develop who is going to be the leaders within this new team because the best players, or excuse me, the best teams that myself, I'm sure you've ever been around are player led teams. So once we kind of got through the first few days of kind of who's going to be the voice of the offense, who's going to be the defense, then it was really into getting into the details of, you know, who's willing to take the right approach each day. Because I've said this since the beginning, each interview I do, scheme is scheme. You have to continue to develop the techniques of the position and figure out who's going to play hard and who's going to be physical on a consistent basis. And I call it find the guys you can win with, find your reliables.
Coach, if you could go back to that 2007 season, to that freshman Ryan Beard at Western Kentucky, and give yourself some advice based on what you know right now, well, what advice would you give that freshman?
Oh, you're not near as cool as you think you are, Ryan. You're a good football player, but there's a lot more that goes into being a good football player, a good person, and I think this is one of the reasons I relate so well to our players, especially the younger players, because I had a really I had a pretty rough freshman, early sophomore year in regards to just understanding what it takes to be a college athlete and a consistent starter on a football team and a guy that people look to and can trust. Yeah, I had all the talent in the world. It wasn't about that. It was about being a knucklehead and showing up on time and, you know, going to class and doing what you're supposed to do. So I can relate to some of these young guys that had issues their freshman year. And but to be honest, I wouldn't have written it a different way. I think it's helped me become who I am today. And um I love every minute of coming to work. You can see the smile on my face every day. I talked to my wife this morning before I left, and I said, I don't know if I could have written it so far so good, but the rest is still to come.
What time does Coach Ryan Beard's day start in the morning?
So again, this morning was a little weird because of the storms rolling in. Me and my wife had some coffee about 5, and then I rolled in shortly after that. Because the twins usually get up around them. But I like to be in the office. It's good, and I would suggest this to young coaches: find your time. When are you least accessible, and you can have your own time to kind of work through your thoughts and work through some things that you need to plan for the day or the week, and really utilize that time. My specific time is before anybody else gets to work. I'm a early morning guy. Not great after about midnight, but early in the morning, I'm as sharp as the day is long.
Well, Coach, one thing you got to get your Wikipedia page updated. They've got you, as a head coach at Missouri State University, but they're not quite sure what year you were born. So,
I didn't even know I have one.
yes, yeah, you have a Wikipedia page, Ryan Beard. It just says born either 1988 or 1989 and is either 33 or 34. They're not sure what year you were born.
Well, I don't know. You're awesome on social media. So if you could just tell them I was born in 1989, I'll be turning 34 in June.
All right. Well, Coach, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time, and hopefully we can do this several more times here as we get into the football season. You're undefeated right now, so it's a great time to visit.
Yeah, absolutely. You're a great man, good person for the community, and anytime you want to jump on, I'd love to chat.
You bet. Coach Ryan Baird, head football coach, Missouri State University, and you're watching the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us, take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow.